Welcome, seekers of truth. Today I share with you a teaching about the nature of true strength. In a forest near a flowing river, two beings grew side by side. One was a mighty oak tree, tall and proud, with a thick trunk and deep roots that had stood firm for many decades. The other was a simple bamboo, slender and flexible, swaying gently with every breeze that passed through the forest. The oak looked down upon the bamboo with contempt. He would say, "Look at you, so weak and fragile, bending with the slightest wind. I stand strong and unmoved, a symbol of power and permanence. You are nothing compared to my greatness." The bamboo never responded with anger or pride. Instead, he simply continued to sway, accepting his nature without resistance or shame. He knew that his flexibility was not weakness, but a different kind of strength. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The oak continued to boast about his superiority, his massive branches reaching toward the sky as if to claim dominion over the entire forest. Then one evening, dark clouds gathered on the horizon. A great storm was approaching, the kind that tests everything in its path. The winds began to howl, growing stronger with each passing hour. Rain poured down in torrents, and lightning split the sky. The oak stood defiantly against the tempest. "I will not bend," he declared. "I am strong. I will resist with all my might." And resist he did, every fiber of his being fighting against the powerful winds that tried to push him down. The bamboo, however, took a different path. As the winds intensified, he bowed low, his body curving until his top nearly touched the ground. He offered no resistance, accepting the storm's fury with complete surrender. Throughout the night, the battle between the oak and the storm raged on. The oak's branches creaked and groaned under the pressure, his trunk straining against forces beyond his control. The bamboo continued to bend, dancing with the wind rather than fighting it. When dawn finally broke and the storm passed, a profound scene revealed itself. The mighty oak lay shattered on the forest floor, his trunk split in two, his proud branches scattered and broken. His refusal to bend had led to his destruction, but the bamboo slowly rose back to his original position, completely intact, not a single part of him damaged. His flexibility had allowed him to survive what brute strength could not. This teaching reveals a fundamental truth about existence. Many believe that strength means rigidity, that power comes from standing firm and never yielding, but nature shows us otherwise. The strongest blade of grass survives the storm that fells the mightiest tree. Water, the softest element, eventually wears away the hardest stone. True strength lies not in resistance, but in adaptation. When we cling rigidly to our opinions, our pride, our need to be right, we become like the oak. We set ourselves up for suffering and eventual breaking. Life brings challenges that cannot be overcome through force alone. Change is inevitable, and those who resist it will find themselves shattered by circumstances beyond their control. But when we learn to be like the bamboo, to bend without breaking, to adapt without losing our core essence, we discover a resilience that no storm can destroy. This is not weakness or surrender in the negative sense. It is wisdom. It is understanding that sometimes the most powerful action is to yield, to let go of our ego, to accept what we cannot change. In your own life, notice when you are being the oak and when you are being the bamboo. When you find yourself in conflict, ask whether rigid resistance serves you or whether flexible adaptation might be the wiser path. The bamboo does not lose its identity by bending. When the storm passes, it returns to its true nature, unbroken and whole. This is the strength I encourage you to cultivate. Be firm in your values, but flexible in your methods. Be strong in your compassion, but soft in your pride. Be rooted in wisdom, but willing to sway with the winds of change. Remember, the greatest strength is knowing when to stand firm and when to bend. May you find the wisdom to be like the bamboo, surviving and thriving through flexibility, humility, and acceptance. May your path be one of resilience and peace.